do. On the immigration story, so we raised, in 2016, we raised about $1.5 million. This is highlight of my life. I'm like in Silicon Valley, living the dream. And my lawyer calls me and says, Ade, you have 15 days to leave the country. And I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? And she said, well, you applied for your work visa. You got accepted in the lottery, but they denied your application because they said your degree didn't match your job title. So you studied engineering, you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't match. And so, yeah, you had to go. And I was like, well, I don't pay you to tell me I have to go. So we had to figure this out. So I ended up having, yeah, this is so fun, by the way. It's so nice to be able to laugh about it. But I had very, very few options. And the only option I had was actually, number one, firing myself because I couldn't compromise the business. So I had to fire myself, and then I had to go back to school. So I was like, wow, okay. So people who know me know that I vowed that you couldn't pay me to go back to school. So going back to school was just a terrible idea. So I went to UCLA. I said, I want to do venture capital later down the road. So why don't I go study finance? So I got a certificate in finance out of UCLA. And then UCLA allowed us in our second semester to do an internship. So I applied back to my company as an intern. So I was an intern, and then eventually at this time I was going to school full time. I was working my job without getting paid. And I was also doing different kind of immigration applications. So I ended up applying for this special kind of green card for people whose job was in the national interest of the country. So because of our work is in healthcare and it's very important to the country, that was the pathway for me to come back. So it's been a very interesting journey, but happy to be here.